The message that shouldn't exist, London, February 2027. It had been raining for days. The sky over Westminster was soaked in grey, as if the city itself was trying to hide something. Eleanor Shaw stepped into the corner cafe near Vauxhall Station, her coat dripping, her mind racing. She had worked as a foreign correspondent for over a decade. Syria, Ukraine, even Tehran once. But nothing compared to what she had just received. A flash drive, no return address, no sender, just a note. You publish this, you start a war. You stay silent, and it still comes. Choose. Eleanor sat by the window and slid the drive into her laptop. She hesitated. Her instincts screamed caution. But she clicked. A series of heavily encrypted files appeared. One labeled Project Nightsand, Tier 1 clearance. Another, Iran response simulation to 2:47 a.m. strike scenario. And a third, simply named Echo. She opened the last one. What she saw was a live satellite feed, dry desert area, dotted with faint shadows, vehicles, maybe drones. She zoomed in. The metadata confirmed it. Negev, desert Israel. The timestamp was just 1 hour old. This wasn't leaked intel, it was live. And in the bottom corner of the feed, a blinking red icon. U.S. relay active. The implications were staggering. Was the U.S. coordinating with Israel for a preemptive strike on Iran? And why now, when diplomatic talks were publicly progressing? What did this mean for Russia's recent naval movements near the Strait of Hormuz? She leaned back, heart pounding. She had two options: go public and face imprisonment, exile, or worse, or dig deeper and find out who sent this and why. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You have 72 hours. After that, they launch. Truth dies in silence, Eleanor. Ghosts of the archive, the rain hadn't stopped by the time Eleanor left. The cafe night had already fallen. Her hands were cold, but her mind burned. She wasn't paranoid. She was experienced. When stories like this showed up uninvited, it meant someone wanted her to see it, but also wanted to see what she would do with it. She took the back entrance into the BBC investigative unit, where she still had friends and one remaining favor. In the archives, she met Thomas Vale, her former producer, a quiet man with thinning hair and a good memory for bad secrets. "What are you working on this time, Ellie?" he asked, pouring tea into 2 paper cups. "I need a name check. Someone who sent me something sensitive." The encryption key was Tier 1, military grade, 5 eyes level. She slid the flash drive across the table. "I just want to know if this has fingerprints on it." Thomas frowned. "But if it does, it's not someone small. That's the point." He hesitated, then nodded. "Give me an hour." Meanwhile, at the Israeli Air Command Base, Negev Desert, a shadow moved across the airfield. General Yonatan Elbaz reviewed the satellite connection report. The drone footage had been accessed from outside their secure perimeter. Someone had seen it. "Do we know who?" he asked. "No, sir, but the data path led through London. MI6, possibly. Or worse, the press." He clenched his jaw. "Prepare the fallback protocol. We launch in 70 hours, whether or not the leak is contained." Back in London, Eleanor's apartment, Eleanor's phone buzzed again. "Unknown number. You're being watched. Trust no one. If Vale is compromised, you'll be dead by morning." She stared at the screen. Her pulse quickened. Suddenly a knock on her door. Soft. 3 taps, then silence. She moved to the peephole. No one. Another buzz. Unknown number. That wasn't a warning. That was a test. She shut the blinds and unplugged her internet. Whatever this was. It wasn't just about leaked intel. This was something else. Something deeper. She returned to her laptop and opened the second file. Iran response simulation to 2:47 a.m. strike scenario. It detailed a projected joint airstrike involving Israeli F-35s and US B-2 bombers, targeting multiple suspected nuclear research sites near Esfahan. Casualty estimates: 12,000 civilians. Collateral: acceptable. Below the file, approved by Task Force Echo, DoD, NSA liaison pending. She froze. Task Force Echo wasn't just a name. It was her father's old unit, the one he vanished from 17 years ago. Echoes from the dead, the flat was silent, But Eleanor couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was watching. Task Force Echo, a name buried in government silence. Officially disbanded. Unofficially, a ghost. Eleanor's father, Michael Shaw, had once been its most trusted operative. A man trained to vanish. And vanish he did. Without a trace, without a body, without a goodbye. Till now. She pulled an old box from her closet, letters, photos, an old MI6 ID. Tucked inside was a folded map of Tehran, marked with a red X in the Karaj region. Her father's last known location. Then her laptop beeped. A secure connection request. The screen flashed black, then showed a single line of text. "You're not supposed to have those files." She froze. Then typed back, "Who are you?" "A friend of your father?" Her breath caught. "He's dead." "No. He's in hiding, because of what's coming." The cursor blinked. Then came the message. "You have less than 60 hours. If they launch, millions die. But if you speak, they'll make you disappear too." Elsewhere, CIA sub-level briefing room. Langley, an emergency session was underway. "Leak originated in London," the analyst said. "When access classified drone telemetry." Director Harlan Reese leaned forward. "Did it spread?" "No, only one download." "But someone inside the British press has Tier 1 clearance or knows someone who does." He turned to the defense liaison. "Echo," the man nodded grimly. "Possibly, and if so, Shaw's daughter is the leak." Reese slammed the table. "Find her now." London. 3:12 a.m., Eleanor packed a bag. This was no longer journalism. This was survival. Before leaving, she opened one last file from the drive. It wasn't military data. It was a video. Grainy, low resolution, a dark room. A man with gray hair, speaking directly into the camera. Her father. "If you're watching this, I'm already dead, or close enough. What you found is real. The war is pre-planned. The targets, the reactions, the chaos, all designed. They want it to burn. Because from the ashes, they get order. You have two choices. Expose it or vanish like I did. Then silence, then static." She closed the laptop slowly. Outside, a black SUV rolled to a stop across the street. No lights. No sound. Eleanor stepped into the cold. Bag in hand, head down. She wasn't just chasing the truth anymore. She was the truth. Someone wanted it buried forever. The war they want. Eleanor boarded the last Eurostar to Paris under the name Clara Voss, a fake identity long buried in her emergency archive. One she never thought she'd use. She sat in the dim corner of the train car, her face hidden beneath a scarf, her laptop powered off, her nerves electric. Every second felt borrowed. Somewhere between Calais and Lille, a voice called her name, her real name. "Eleanor?" She turned. Her hand instinctively reached for the small pepper spray in her coat. But the figure before her wasn't a threat. He looked familiar. "I knew your father," he said calmly. "He told me to find you if this ever started again." "Were you?" "Was Echo Unit Bravo. He was Alpha. We called him Ghost. And right now, the world needs his daughter." Paris, an old bookstore in Montmartre downstairs, in a cellar masked as a wine vault, Eleanor sat across from Sebastian Morel. Former European intelligence analyst turned exile. He spread out classified maps, intercepted comms, and a single page marked Operation Ash Rebirth. "This is not just war," he whispered. "It's a global reset." She frowned. "You mean nuclear? Full scale?" He shook his head. "Not destruction. Reconstruction. Controlled collapse." They pushed the world to the edge. Cyber attacks, energy shortages, localized war, media panic. Then they offer the cure. One system, one currency, one government. A new peace that begins with global fear. "In Iran," Eleanor asked, "is the match? Israel is the spark? And the U.S. is the hand holding the lighter?" Meanwhile, Moscow, Kremlin sub-level President Putin, stood before a digital war map, his advisors tense. "Americans plan a false flag," one general said. "Blame Iran, trigger retaliation, sweep in as heroes." Putin remained silent, then smiled faintly. "Let them play their game," he said. "We have our own." Back in Paris, rooftop of the bookstore. Eleanor stood in the freezing wind, her phone in hand, camera recording. She had decided. This is Eleanor Shaw. If you're watching this, the war hasn't started yet, but they want it. And here's the proof. She uploaded the video to 5 secure channels across Europe and Asia. No passwords, no paywalls. It's just raw truth, unleashed. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. Too late, the launch code's already in motion. Her heart dropped. Israel, 2:44 a.m., local time. Pilots stepped into cockpits, drones activated, satellites blinked into position. Target lock, Courage Research Facility, Iran. But just as the operation was about to commence, emergency signal received. Screens flickered. Alarms sounded. Broadcast interruption. Unauthorized transmission detected. Eleanor's video. The truth had gone viral. Mid-launch, in the White House Situation Room, chaos erupted. Some screamed for disavowal, others for arrest. But one voice, calm, old, calculating, spoke softly. She forced our hand too early. It's final scene. Eleanor stood alone on the rooftop. Sirens echoed in the distance. Not from war, but from those coming for her. She smiled, just barely. They wanted silence, she whispered. But the sirens came first.